All right, let's jump right in. Today we're talking about one of the world's youngest major religions, the Bahá'í Faith. But what's really wild is how its message, which is all about global unity, feels like it was written for the challenges we're facing right now. And let's just start with the single most important idea. This quote right here. It comes from the faith's founder, Baha'u'llah. The earth is but one country and mankind its citizens. Now, this isn't just a nice thought. It's literally the DNA of the entire faith. Everything else kind of flows from this one core concept. So where did this all start? Well, it's actually pretty recent. We're talking mid-1800s Persia, which is modern-day Iran. And that's what's so striking, right? It's born in the 19th century, but its main message about getting past our differences and uniting the globe, I mean, that feels like it could have been written this morning. So to really get this, we've got to go back to the beginning. We need to look at the origins and the key people who brought this message to the world. It's all about this idea of a chain of divine revelation. Okay, so the story really kicks off in 1844 with a figure called the Bab. He basically sets the stage, announcing that a new divine messenger is on the way. And while that messenger turns out to be Baha'u'llah, who has his key revelation just a few years later in 1852. Then his son, Abdul Baha, he's the one who really takes the message global, traveling all through Europe and North America. And this all leads to 1963 when the faith's global governing council, the Universal House of Justice, is finally formed. So this idea of a new messenger, it's a really big deal in the faith. They call it the manifestation of God. And the way they see it is, God doesn't just speak to humanity once. Throughout history, he sends these, you could call them divine educators. Think of figures you already know, like Moses, or Christ, or Muhammad. Baha'is see them all as part of this long chain. And for them, Baha'u'llah is simply the most recent link, bringing a message that's specifically for our modern world. And get this. The story of how this message was delivered is just incredible. Baha'u'llah wasn't sitting in some comfortable study. He spent 4 decades as a prisoner and an exile. I mean, can you imagine? And yet, from these incredibly harsh conditions, he produces this enormous body of work, over 100 volumes that become the sacred scriptures of the faith. It's pretty mind-blowing. So, out of that remarkable history, what did we actually get? What are the core teachings? Well, Baha'is see them as a kind of blueprint, a plan for building a totally new kind of world. Okay, at the heart of it all, you have what they call the 3 onenesses. First, the oneness of God. Simple enough, right? There's one creator behind everything. Second, the oneness of religion. This one's a bit more radical. The idea is that all the world's major religions, they're not competing. They're actually chapters in the same book, a single divine story that's still unfolding. And then there's the third, and maybe the toughest one, the oneness of humanity. This is a call to completely tear down every prejudice we have, whether it's based on race, nation, or gender. You know that age-old debate, science versus religion? Well, the Bahá'í Faith has a really interesting take. Instead of seeing them as fighting each other, they see them as 2 sides of the same coin. 2 different but equally important ways of finding truth. Science uses investigation, religion uses revelation. The core idea is that humanity needs both to really move forward. It's like a bird. A bird can't fly with just one wing. It needs 2. For them, those 2 wings are science and religion, working in harmony. Okay, so we've got the history, we've got the big ideas, but what does this actually look like day to day? How do these beliefs play out in real life in the community? One of the first things you'd probably notice is there's no clergy, no priests, no imams, none of that. Instead, communities are guided by these elected councils they call spiritual assemblies. And the way they're chosen is really different too. There's no campaigning, no one putting their name forward. It's all done through quiet, prayerful voting for those who are best suited to serve. The main community event is called the 19-day feast, and it's always got these 3 parts. It kicks off with a spiritual part, prayers and readings from sacred texts. Then it shifts gears into a practical part, consultation. This is where everyone discusses community affairs, but with a real focus on respect and openness. And finally, it ends with fellowship, just a time to socialize and strengthen those community bonds. And on a personal level, the daily spiritual rhythm of a Baha'i involves a few key things. There's daily prayer, reading the sacred writings morning and evening, and an annual 19-day fast, which is kind of like a spiritual reset. But, and this is a big one, all of that personal practice is tied to this other core idea, that serving others, helping your community, that in itself is one of the highest forms of worship. And all of this brings us to where the faith is today. And it's really a story of a journey from this tiny, persecuted group to a truly global presence. It's incredible, but the Baha'i community today is living in two completely different worlds at the same time. In Iran, where the faith was born, its members face systematic persecution. They're shut out of universities, their basic rights are denied. It's a story of nonviolent resilience. But then you look at the rest of the world, and you see this thriving, growing community actively working on the very things they're denied back home, like universal education and constructive service.
And just how big has that global community gotten? Well, the latest estimates put the number at over 5 million Baha'is around the world.
But honestly, the number itself isn't the most amazing part. It's the spread. We're talking about a presence in over 200 countries and territories. That makes the Baha'i Faith one of the most geographically widespread religions on the entire planet. And if you're looking for a physical symbol of that global reach, you have to look to the Baha'i World Center in Haifa, Israel. The gardens and shrines there are just breathtaking. And it's not just a pilgrimage site. UNESCO has actually named it a World Heritage Site, recognizing its outstanding universal value to all of humanity.
So here we are, right back where we started. After looking at the history, the principles, and the global community, it all comes down to this one simple but revolutionary idea. We are one human family, and this planet is our one and only home.
And that leaves us with a big question to chew on. The Baha'i teachings suggest that humanity is kind of growing up. We're on the verge of a new stage of maturity as a species. So the question isn't just for Baha'is, it's for every single one of us. What will it actually take to build that single human family?